Wizards of the Coast just dropped a surprise announcement regarding the banned and restricted list that apparently impacts standard and historic and also deals with the companion mechanic. Greetings, owners of fine luxury cardboard rectangles. Things are a little weird right now. We literally just had a ban announcement very recently, right? To the point where it is genuinely surprising that Wizards of the Coast would come out and be like, by the way, real soon, we're going to be making some changes to standard and historic. And then they mention tantalizingly the companion mechanic. You know what? Let's get the announcement up on the screen so you guys can know what I'm talking about here. It was shared out in a tweet that reads, on Monday, June 1st, there will be an update to the banned and restricted list impacting the standard and historic formats that will also address the companion mechanic. Now, this is something Wizards has taken to doing more recently. Before, we used to have a very regimented ban and restricted update schedule where they would do it 4 times a year at very specific times. And very rarely, if ever, was something done as an emergency banning. They decided after a while that they were going to up the frequency of these bannings and restriction announcements. And honestly, I think that's a good way to do business because you can stop problems before they become a bigger issue. Honestly, the longer the problems go unchecked, the more it affects specifically the standard environment, and it can drive people away from playing the game. And that's not what we want, right? We want more people to enjoy Magic the Gathering with at the end of the day. So, them signaling ahead of time that we're having one of these faster style bannings, although technically, is it a banning or a restriction? Either way, this is one of those announcements where they say, just in case you were thinking about picking up some cards or starting a new deck or whatever else, just bear in mind that we are going to be making changes to the historic standard formats, and it does reference companions. Now, there's a couple of possibilities here, right? There's one possibility is based on the previous ban that we saw. The previous ban that we saw was centered around companions specifically, and we saw multiple companions get banned across multiple formats. So obviously companions are having a big impact. The question isn't whether they're going to do something about companions. It never was. The question is, what are they ultimately going to do with companions? Because is companion a mechanic they intend on returning? Like, do they already have more companions planned out for future expansions that we haven't even seen yet? Is it going to show up in 2021? Is companion something that is just going to be in Ikoria, but because of what happened in the world and the shortened ability time frame wise of Wizards to sell packs has made them go, well, you know what, we don't really have more companion stuff going on, but we don't want to have to remove them entirely from the format. We still want to be able to sell them. So there's the banning or the modification option. So if you go with what happened previously, when it comes to older formats, they didn't choose to change how companion works, right? They just outright banned particular companions, but you can still use companions in that older format. So the question really becomes, are they going to turn around and say, you know what we're actually doing that addresses the companion mechanic is to just ban companions across the board? Because that does actually go ahead and deal with the companion mechanic. There's obviously no problems with it if you can't use it, although there is a problem with sales and the contentment of people who already own the cards. And banning 10 cards in one go, that's a tough pill to swallow, right? So the scenario is one where they're not talking about this update affecting older formats. And is it really going to turn out to be that they just go ahead and modify it? Like, are they going to modify the companion rule so that you have to discard a card or do something else to meet whatever conditions? Like, they're going to obviously make companion more restrictive or more resource cost-wise. You're going to have to pay something, be it a chunk of life, a card from your hand. Do you have to mulligan down to 6 and put the companion in your hand instead of it being off to the side? Like, how significant a change are we going to see? And will that change address the underlying problems with companion in that they're almost becoming a requisite to play, where they create such an uneven playing field that if you're not choosing to opt for companions, you're doing yourself a disservice. So they're going to pull it back to the point where it's still a workable mechanic, but doesn't maintain its dominance? Or is this all just a whole, guess what, surprise, it's banned? Because if they were just going to change the companion mechanic, maybe at the same time, they would reverse course with Luris and other cards that got, the other companions that got banned previously. I don't know for sure. I'm actually in the middle of working on the secret layer videos and stuff like that. So there's not really much more to say. It all boils down to the speculation of companions. I don't know if there's anything else that's on the chopping block, if they might be like, hey, we're going to get rid of Agent of Treachery or something else while we're at it. I don't know. I feel like the entire thing is going to be purely based around companions, but I am curious to know your thoughts. I'm actually going to talk about it in tonight's live stream as well. But anyways, back to working on the next secret layer video. Thanks for coming by, everybody. This is a community-funded channel, so if you want to help out with what I'm doing here, jump on my Patreon. I will see all of you very soon.